Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be a champion guide for Valkyrie, so let's get into it. Alrighty, so first off, we'll go ahead and pull up Valkyrie. Valkyrie is a legendary barbarian up top here, the defense spirit legendary, and the interesting thing about Valkyrie is she is the #1 rated legendary in the game on my tier list. The whole tier list is down in the video description if you want to see where I list where I rank every champion. And yeah, Valkyrie has been kind of a widely requested guide for a while now because I do have her as rank 1. So it's about time I get a guide out for her and explain exactly why she is rank 1. So first of all, let's go over the abilities here. Speed of 104 base, which is very good. Anytime a champion has over a 100 base speed, that is excellent. We've got an A1 that attacks one enemy twice, decreases the turn meter by 10% on each hit if the target has any buffs. Then we've got an A2, Stand Firm. This is arguably the best ability in the game. Attack all enemies, place a shield buff on all allies for 3 turns, and a counterattack buff on all allies for 2 turns. The value of shield and damage inflicted are proportional to this champion's defense. So first of all, defense characters are kind of thought of as the best in the game for many different reasons. It's an AoE attack all ability, also places a shield buff for 3 turns on all allies, and team counterattack on all allies for 2 turns. So it's kind of like the best of all worlds. It provides so much guaranteed value and general utility that it's one of the best abilities in the game. Then we've got a passive here. This champion's turn meter will be increased by 10% each time an enemy champion places a buff. Enemy champions will have their turn meters decreased by 10% for each buff they receive. So it can be pretty good for dungeons and the arena and stuff. And then we've got an aura here that's for defense and faction crypts. It's pretty good, very good for faction crypts, but not going to give you some of the consistent value that an aura that's all battles will be. I have Valkyrie and Martyr 1 and 2 because they both kind of fill a similar role. And in my tier list currently, as of making this video, I have Valkyrie #1 and Martyr #2 because of the value that counterattack brings to having it on your account. Now, why Valkyrie #1? It's because the shield. The shield is just so good in the clan boss and in dungeons to help you get just more ally sustain. The shield is what just put her that little tick above. It's very close. Valkyrie and Martyr are both amazing. So that's kind of the reasoning behind that. And as always, for my champion guides, I will have one of these down in the video description. It's going to be just kind of an infographic showing you the masteries that I currently use on my Valkyrie, and I'll go over those when I pull it up here in a little bit, and then just kind of the gear and the sets to use. As far as grades, campaign A-. I didn't really know what to give Valkyrie for the campaign because she's incredible for like helping you 3-star the campaign, but she's not really a speed farmer, so I gave her an A-. Definitely very good for the campaign. Clan boss A+, she's arguably the best hero in the game for the clan boss. Arena B, she's usable, but she's not like part of the speed meta really. Dungeons and faction wars A+, she's amazing in many different areas of the game like that. So yeah, that will be down in the video description, and let's go ahead and pull up my Valkyrie, and we'll kind of talk about it here. So first off, the masteries. The masteries that I have here in the infographic, you'll notice one big difference is I did not get accuracy. I only use my Valkyrie for the clan boss. And one interesting thing is, one kind of cool thing about Valkyrie, if you're going to use her only against the clan boss, you don't really need accuracy. So you can squeeze in, gear that would be trash usually can be good on Valkyrie because you don't need to worry about accuracy substats if you're just using her for the clan boss. If you're using her in other areas of the game and in general utility, like Fire Knight, stuff like that, you're gonna probably want accuracy. But I just went with HP, shield, cooldown stats, and lasting gifts. And then we obviously go crit rate, crit damage. We work our way down to War Master. And as always for masteries, you kind of want to use it as a stepping stone, as a general guideline, because it's going to depend on how you use the champion and exactly what you need to get. So use it as a launching board. Don't just blindly copy people's masteries. This is kind of mine and a brief explanation on why. All right, so my Valkyrie We've got, you know, 4 pieces of speed, 2 pieces of defense. That's kind of an optimal setup for her. Now, counterattack, I could do a whole video on. I think I have actually done a whole video on like the basics of counterattack. But basically, you want Valkyrie to be the lowest speed on your team by 1. So like if everybody's speed on your team is like 200, you want Valkyrie to be 199. You want her to go last and then place that counterattack so that her allies don't waste turns of counterattack before the enemy gets to go. So you want Valkyrie to go last in your rotation, place counterattack, then let the enemy go and do their thing and hit you, and so that you can proc all of your counterattacks and get max value out of that. So because of that, I've got her speed at 202, and then all of my clan boss you know, allies are going to be like 203, 204, 205. They're all going to be right there with Valkyrie going last. Or I think I run double counterattack, so Martyr actually goes after Valkyrie, which isn't a big deal. But yeah, so you want your Martyr and Valkyrie, your counterattack champions, to be going last after the rest of your allies. And yeah, we're just going with crit rate as the main stat here. Defense would be just as viable, and I'm thinking about theory crafting it and testing it out. These were the best speed gloves I had at the time when I built my Valkyrie, but defense or crit rate basically are both going to be viable for the gloves. Obviously, the chest, you're going to want defense, and then you're going to want speed and all the other normal good substats. And for boots, we're probably going to want speed in like 99% of scenarios with Valkyrie, and then obviously the good substats like defense, crit damage, crit rate, HP, any sort of sustain you can get on them is great. For jewelry, the ring, we're just looking for lots of defense, lots of good base stats, defense, and HP. And then the amulet gives you a little bit of wiggle room. You can go with a defense one or a crit damage one. And again, remember, if you're only using her for the clan boss, you don't have to really worry about accuracy, which makes it a little bit easier to find a good amulet. But if you're using her in other areas of the game, you're going to want to get that accuracy. Banner, again, I just use her for the clan boss, so I go with defense, and I haven't glyphed up the speed yet because it would mess up my rotation. So I got her slotted in there perfectly. You really need to fine tune your speed if you're going to be using a counterattack composition. And then, so yeah, just defense, speed, accuracy banner will be good too if that's your best one, but defense is definitely optimal if you're using her like just to min-max the clan boss. Alrighty, so that's kind of that, and I'm going to actually grade her live. I like doing this during the video. Let's give her a review here. Recommended artifacts. I like to go over these in the video and talk about if they're right or wrong. I think if it were 4-piece defense, 2-piece speed, that would be a little bit closer. So it's not awful, but I would definitely slot out the HP ones with speed. Alrighty, so diving into the rankings here. Arena offense, I'm going to give her a 4. I mean, she's good. She's not like super meta though, so I'll give her a 4. Arena defense, I'll go ahead and give her a 5. She's pretty good there with the counterattack and all of that. Clan boss, obviously a 5. This is ridiculous. How is her clan boss a 4.8 when her arena offense is a 4.9? That's kind of crazy. Campaign, I'm going to give her a 5. Yeah, she's pretty good. Fire Knight, obviously a 5. The Fire Knight is very important to get counterattack on our team, so she is game-changing for the Fire Knight. Minotaur, 5. She's really good at that one. Spider, not her strongest area. I'm going to give her a 3. Dragon's Lair, again, it's not her strongest. The Dragon's a little bit more of a speed farm type dungeon, but I'm going to give her a 5. She could definitely do a good job there. Ice Golem, yeah, I'll give her a 5. Void's gonna be a 5, a pretty straightforward dungeon. Force, she counters the affinity, and it's a pretty straightforward dungeon, so we'll go there. Magic Keep, she's affinity countered and doesn't really remove buffs or anything, so honestly, I'd give her a 3. She can do it, she's not like awful, but and then Spirit, we'll go ahead and give her... She doesn't have like heal reduction or anything, but it's like a 4.5, which is what's tough. I'm gonna give her a 4. And then the Arcane Keep is not here, but she would be a 5. And I believe Faction Wars is not here, but she would be a 5. So as you can see by the grades, she's basically a 5 or a 4 everywhere. Maybe a couple 3s, but I definitely, you know, she's the #1 legendary in the game, in my opinion, so obviously she's going to get pretty good grades. Alrighty, and now I will show you Valkyrie in action in a clan boss fight. So let's go clan boss. And I can't show you Ultra because I've already done 87 million on Ultra. In our clan, we overkill just a little bit to make sure we get it done, but I don't want to overkill too much and prevent my teammates from getting their damage in. So I'm going to show you an attack on Nightmare, and we'll go ahead and key it up here. And one important thing, I believe I have a whole video on counterattack, so I want to make sure and refer to that if you want some of the stuff in more detail. That's why I'm going to kind of gloss over it here. But in counterattack, so if our whole team has a counterattack buff and we get hit by an AoE that hits our whole team, there's a certain order that our teammates will counterattack in, and it goes leader, up, down, up, down. So when my whole team has counterattack, I will counterattack after an AoE that hits my whole team, Jareg, then Valkyrie, then Martyr, then Draco, and then Bad L. So you want to formulate your team in a way where your powerful debuff A1s, like Jareg's decreased attack, will be higher up in the counterattack rotation. So that's just one thing you want to know as you're you know, building a counterattack team. But okay, so here's where you'll see the speed tuning here. So we've got Jareg goes, then we've got our Draco, then we've got our Bad Alcazar, and then we've got our Valkyrie placing a counterattack on our whole team. And we can see here that it works very well on auto because Martyr did not do her counterattack because my whole team already had counterattack. So then we go Valkyrie, and boom, there's our Bastion of Faith. It procs just in time. So you can see that even on auto, the double counterattack, if you tune your speeds right, will kind of, it's actually one thing the AI, you know, thankfully does right. They don't both like counterattack right after one another, or at least not most of the time. So tuning your speed with counterattack is extremely important. And yeah, I'll go ahead and let this play out if you want to watch it. I may fast forward it a little bit here, but I'll let you kind of watch it play out, and we'll see kind of how the damage numbers come out. But yeah, in the meantime, before I fast forward it, I'm trying to think if there's anything that I should mention. Also, if you'll notice on the infographic, you'll see here that I have Lifesteal as one of the optimal sets for Valkyrie. That would be like, so with my composition, I've got lots of HP, and I scale my healing really well because of that, with my Bad Alcazar providing insane heals. Now, a lot of you obviously are not going to have an insane support like Bad L. So what you can do is use the Lifesteal set to, you know, Lifesteal will proc off of Giant Slayer and War Master. So if you get your Valkyrie to, you know, heal back up, if you don't have like really good heals. So that's why the Lifesteal set can be very good in the endgame clan boss scenario. I don't use it because I use my Bad L and kind of structure around that with the Jareg aura and lots of HP and the continuous heal buff of Bad L. But that's why Lifesteal is on there if you're curious, and why I don't use Lifesteal on my Valkyrie. I do want to test it at some point to see if I get rid of Bad L and get everybody kitted out in a good Lifesteal set and switch out Bad L for something else. Kind of like what that could do for me, but I haven't, you know, gone through the trouble of gearing all of that out. I've been kind of grinding the dragon like crazy so I can test that and build that different kind of roster. But yeah, other than that, as long as you have your speed tuned right with your counterattack, so that you're placing it after your whole team to get maximum value out of the counterattack buff, you got your proper rotation going, you should get a lot of insane value out of Valkyrie and other counterattack champions. So yeah, I'm gonna let this play, and I will catch you at the end of the clan boss. Alrighty, so there you have it. I will say, side note, it's very weird to be on camera, like when you're not talking. So, like, I'm sitting here messing around on my phone, but I know I'm on camera. But anyway, yeah, 33 million, not bad for a Nightmare Void attack on auto. So we can see the strength of double counterattack, and even just Valkyrie herself would make this team insane. Obviously not perfectly optimized, but can perform insanely well. So yeah, that's gonna kind of do it for this video on Valkyrie. And if you have any questions or anything, drop it down in the comments. I'll do my best to help you out. So yeah, as always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.